There's all sorts of stuff out there. I mean, this is things that happened probably like 12 years ago now. We're on a trip from Austria to Prague. I was like kind of heavy drinking in Austria and decided like instead of taking the bus with everybody else that I would like rent a car and drive to Prague. I had been up all night. Dan Peugeot, I don't know if you guys like remember that dude. He skated for World Industries. I figured like, fuck it, this guy's got a lot of money. So I got him to rent the car and I broke out to Prague. I got pulled over, but it wasn't like regular pulled over. Like I stopped at the convenience store to get some iced tea to mix it with the vodka. And these guys in plain clothes are like, hey, you're drinking and driving. And I ran up the car and did a backflip, like show them like I wasn't, like Wu-Tang, you know, I thought it was funny. But I was pretty wasted and I'd been up for like 2 or 3 days at the time. The real cops show up and then I tried to pull the same shit and like went to run up his car and he slammed me on my head and wasn't having it. And this dude, really, he only speaks German. I'm trying to tell him all this stuff in English, a skateboarder on this tour. So they put me right in the crazy house, like straight away. There was nothing about it. I get to the hospital and I'm trying to tell the doctor, like, we're on this tour. We're going through Europe. And he's like, yeah, this kid thinks he's like a pro skateboarder. We're gonna give you a shot and you're gonna see clearly now. The dude goes to give me a shot and I fucking punched him in the nose and broke his nose. I was scared, you know? I was there in the hospital for about a week. After that, like the medication they had me on was like, I was basically flipping out for a couple months after that. This is like almost a year later and like I'm still dealing with like these medication issues, you know? I like want to go back to Europe and see my girlfriend that's there at the time. I had a ticket, but it was from Orlando Airport and I was in Gainesville. So I went to the Gainesville airport and was like, how could I fly to there? They weren't having it. Cops came. I ran from the cops, like bolted into the woods. Took my shirt off, put it over my head and laid down into like a stream. I floated down it for like a half a mile or something and then got out and like laid down and like dug a little hole and like they weren't having it because the first guy that ran after me cut his throat on a wire. So they had like helicopters and like this whole big thing. But when they finally found me, like this dog was like, row, 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 row. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to like get the dude hurt or anything, you know? Yeah, I wasn't naked, dude. I had taken my jacket off to like hide, you know? That's how the stories get twisted up. Stuff gets turned around, but whatever, you know, the legend, you gotta keep it alive. You know, the problem is when you're young and you're getting money and you're smoking weed and you're doing all these things are funny to you yourself. You have like your inner monologue. If you do it with a video camera, you could be on Jackass and make tons of money. But if you do it just to entertain yourself, you'll get locked up. I had to learn that the hard way. The problem was not just the crazy stuff, that shit hadn't even gotten back to these people yet. It was that I was in Europe. And at the time, nobody lived in Europe that was American. And they're like, you gotta come back here. And I liked life over there. I was having a good time, so. And then a couple months later, all that stuff happened, and it was kind of like the last nail in the coffin sort of thing. When I got back to the US, I'm dealing with the medication. The drugs they put you on are worse than the episodes. You basically are a zombie. You could smoke cigarettes and watch TV and that's about it. It's like worse than if you were just crazy. I started seeing different doctors and being like, look, I can't skateboard anymore. Like I'm getting fat and this is horrible. This one doctor thought maybe there was something wrong with my thyroid. They tested out my levels and found out that like, it wasn't working at all. I needed to take medication for that. It's called hyperthyroidism, and I've been fine ever since. So we have this nonprofit, the Harold Hunter Foundation, and we send kids to camp. This one kid like begged and begged and begged. So we send the kid. He doesn't skate, it turns out. He's a fat kid. He's got like man boobs. So all the kids are making fun of him right off the bat, first day. And I felt bad for the kid. I'm like, listen, dude, just go roll with like the gymnastics girls. Like, you know, just do your thing. Go ride horses. There's a million things to do at Woodward, you know? Just eat. There's free food all day long. There's probably just as fun as skating for the other kids, you know? The kid got in a fight and he's like, I want to leave, you know? I want to go home. I miss my mom. DC had given everybody free shoes and like, so Harold Hunter's brother, he goes, you want to go home? Give me those shoes back. And he took the kid's shoes while he's getting on the bus to go home. The kid's fat, he's got no shoes, and he got man boobs and he was so bummed. I felt bad for the kid, dude. Give me his shoes back. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't back in that one. We were always building little boxes over at Tompkins Square Park. The deal was like, you take it from the skate shop, you got to bring it back. We found this other park just down the street from Tompkins. I talked to the person that was in charge, said I want to put a ramp here, like this place called 12th and A. The guy's like, yeah, sure, like sounds good. So I hit up Mark Gonzalez for like $400 to build a little wall ride. He gave it to us and my mom painted like the crooked eyes on the wall. It became so popular, like so many kids started showing up that the school principal freaked out and he's like, you gotta get this out of here, like this is no good. And we're like, these are your kids, like this isn't just us. This isn't like a bunch of white dudes from Connecticut. You know, these are your own kids. So one of the kids wrote a petition to the school to have skateboarding as like their PE class. And the school asked me if I wanted to do it. I said, yeah, sure, you know. And we just started a class at the school, and I'm a teacher for it. Chad Musk has been living in New York for years now. I didn't know that he was like pushing for me to get on the team. Or I get this call from Ryan DeWitt. Actually, it's from Ryan Kingman. And he said, we want to do some stuff. You know, we're really psyched on like what you guys got going on in New York. We don't know if it's going to be like an advocate thing or a team thing. And I thought it was Larry Perkins, dude. I thought for sure this was like prank call. Like, so I was like, yeah, cool. Get me a ticket to Tampa and send me some boards. Yeah, just straight up like, all right, cool, man. Get me a ticket to Tampa. Like, no joke. 2 hours later, I had an itinerary to Tampa, and I was like, wow, these guys are serious. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't Larry Perkins. We got a board coming out, and they're sending me to China for the Woodward grand opening. And so, I mean, I'm really psyched about it. I think it's great.